Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Wednesday, the 15th of May. Well, let's get straight into it. So, it's a 14 pence each way, lucky 31. Before I start, can you please give me a like? I would really appreciate it. We need the luck, don't we? Oh, I certainly do. So, the first selection is Kihava at 7 to 1 in the 2:15 at York. This isn't an extra place race, which is a bit unfortunate, really, because it's a bit of a rob dog because it's a very competitive race. I fancied Kihava and also Chillingham, but I've gone for the course form in Kihava, which I do believe it'll come on for its recent run. It's got Oshie Murphy on board, and I think that, well, it goes to say, it's a decent booking. The second selection is Great Ambassador. At 11 to 1 in the 2:45 at York, 7 places instead of 4. This horse was improving massively from run to run. Oh, the odd disappointment, and it tailed off towards the back end of, was it last year or the year before? Anyway, it was a while since I looked at it. Ed Walker is in decent form. It's Tom Marquand on board. I think this horse, it's won over this track before in a listed race. He hasn't got to be at his best to win this race, but it's got to be... It's not at its best, but it's got to be returning in full health and be able to get competitive. I do believe that this horse, it's number 3, so it's towards the top end of the handicap. For the fact that they're bringing it back, I would expect it to be minimum listed or even group company performer after a few runs. I think there's quite a lot expected of this horse. The third selection is Millstream at 6 to 1 in the 3:15 at York, paying 5 places instead of 3. Good reappearance run, had some cracking runs last season, had a wind operation 2 runs back, and I believe that this horse, it'll run a good race. 6 to 1, bit stingy. I did expect about 8s or 9s. The fourth selection is Diligent Resdev at 16 to 1 in the 4:15 at York, paying 5 places instead of 3. Bit of a monkey this horse because it unseated Ryder and bolted on its debut. It was gelded before it even ever ran, but it still won on its debut after, I think it was unseated in the paddock or bolted to post. Then on its most recent run, came with the selections that I gave at Redcar when they had the rails on the near side because of the water on the track. Well, this was drawn, I believe it was 8 of 13, so not massively inconvenienced by the draw, but it raced prominently and then it dropped to midfield. I think it was very slightly inconvenienced by the draw, and I do believe there's more to come from this horse. I think it's a bit of a crackpot. So it's Mick Easterby at York, or the Easterbys at York, so anything can happen. Joanna Mason's on board, and I think it's a bit of a dark horse, and they're paying 5 places. It's a competitive race, but I think it's got a sneak. The final selection is Ace Guard's Captain at 9 to 1 in the 5:20 at York, paying 6 places instead of 4. It's got every chance on the form. I did like the fact that Dylan Cooner said quite a while ago that it was looking to get much better quality horses. It didn't want the riffraff, and I believe this horse is on the improve, and I think he wants to make his name certainly at these big tracks, and I think this horse will have a bold showing tomorrow at York. If you're picking your own, which obviously I'm guessing you're going to, in my opinion, course form counts for a lot. It's a relatively fair course, but it's one of those that you could do with running over in the past, but also running well over as well. I do believe on the straight course they'll probably come straight down the middle, but anything can happen. It depends how much rain they have. But I'm only going with what I think, straight down the middle, and then it could change later on. So the very best of luck, Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.